What's up, everybody? How's it going? Thank you, Heather. I'm already live. I'm live. How's everybody doing? Been a while. This is actually live. The reason I went live is because I got a couple of announcements to make, and we have Basement here, and he can elaborate on said announcement because he's the man. With that being said, how are Basement doing? Oh no, that's great. That's great. We also have Bobbit. Bobbit, how are you doing tonight? Oh my God, he's so fucking weird. And then we have Trek. How you doing, Trek?
They can't hear us in the
Yeah.
chat.
Okay. So sorry, I had you on mute. Oh well, fuck me. Whatever. I always fucking do that. I'm an idiot. How you doing, Basement? I'm sorry. Balls are
Fucking-
hard. Your dick is soft. I don't fucking know. Whatever.
You got it.
Like I said, I have an announcement, and Basement is the man with the plan. I'm gonna announce about wrestling memories and some certain things going forward. We also have Bobbit. He's doing all right, I guess. He probably will start snoring halfway through the show, and then we have Trek, who will just agree with everything that everybody says. How are you guys doing tonight?
Well, I've already slept, and hey, LA Baba here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right,
I'm good, man. Thank you. Just take it easy tonight. Relax.
Just trying to relax. Well, get ready for Snooze Fest. Anyway, so we're gonna go over a review of Raw and SmackDown. We're gonna run through what happened. We're not gonna elaborate too much because Raw sucked. We all watched Raw together, and I can pretty much tell you that they reverted back to what they did the week before the last week. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
It was fucking trash.
It was.
Yeah.
The show started with why this is one of the main events. If I'm going to do a double main event, I would do one at... I live in Central Time, so I'm going to be talking in Central Time. I would do one at 9 o'clock, and then one right towards the 10 o'clock hour. That's because the first hour, you could do one in the second or towards the end of the first hour. The way they used to do it is they used to have 3 main events, and they used to do it in 3 segments. Like they had a big match at the end of hour number 1, a big match at the end of hour number 2, and then a bigger match, the biggest match of the night at the end of hour number 3. Or when they had 2 hours, they did a big match after hour number 1, and then they had a bigger match at the end of hour number 2. That's how they used to do it. They don't do that anymore. But they're giving us matches that we should be seeing on pay-per-views.
Yes.
However, this Becky and Seth thing, I could really give 2 shits about, and I think everybody's in agreement with me on this one. They kicked off with Andrade versus Zelina. I have one question though. When did this match become an elimination match?
Thank you.
When did they announce that? Because I don't think they did.
It was just
I think they announced on Twitter earlier that day.
But when they brought the match up, they only mentioned there was a mixed tag match.
Yeah, they didn't
And then all
say.
of a sudden, Zelina Vega gets to be the first one eliminated, and then where are we gonna go from there if Andrade had actually eliminated Seth?
What if he beats Seth? Does he get a title shot? I mean, does it become a fatal fucking 3-way tag team match? What the fuck? I don't know where they're going with this. Well, I know where they're going with this Becky Seth thing, but this is how they're getting away with doing their commercials during matches. They're just resetting matches is all they're doing. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I fucking hate we're gonna do best of 3 falls. We're gonna do elimination. I mean, yeah, it's I guess opening up so they can they're still taking commercials technically during the match. It's just they're forcing a break in the match to do so.
Right.
It's gonna get old real quick. Is all I'm gonna say.
It's already old. I think. I think they've burnt up their use of these matches. Anyway, the first match, Becky eliminated Zelina Vega. Match was okay. The wrestling was okay, but it's trash. Like Basement said, it was trash. The wrestling was good, but the wrestling can be as good as you want it to be, and the segment's still going to be shit because how do I explain it? They ruin it right away. They give away what they're gonna do, like immediately. Lacey Evans arrives at the ringside and taunts Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch gets taken out by Andrade on accident. He plows in. Seth Rollins stepped to the side, I think, and plowed into Becky with the shoulder block, which I thought was fucking funny. The man got knocked the fuck out by a real man. Then Seth ended up pinning Andrade. Baron Corbin arrives, attacks Seth. Becky gets the woman's right, and that's how the segment ends at the top of the stage. They go to a commercial.
And boy, what a woman's right that was.
Yeah, she got punched. She got fucking lit up like a fucking Christmas tree.
Thank God.
Oh my God, it was beautiful.
I was half expecting to see on Twitter that her face was broken again.
Not my fault. You want to be involved in this high stake matches, then you're gonna have to take a punch. She took a punch. So we all know that fucking Lacey Evans can fucking hit. Paul Heyman showed up. Next segment, it said Brock will cash in on Sunday. On either Kofi or Seth. He didn't say which. Or both. Because he did say at the end of his promo, he said the Universal and or WWE champion. So we don't know. I don't know if that was a mess up on a promo or if that's just a Paul Heyman thing.
It could be a Paul Heyman thing. He's known for that, to keep the intrigue and mysteriousness going.
So my question to you guys, and we'll get into the predictions later at the end of the show. What do you guys think? Do you think he's going to actually cash in?
No.
I think it's going to be teased again.
You think it's going to get teased again?
Yes.
They need to stop making Brock Lesnar look like a fucking bumbling idiot.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's just going to be teased again. I don't think he's cashing in until SummerSlam.
Basement?
Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to be cashing in at Extreme Rules or anything. They might play his music and it'll throw them off for a segment, but there's a couple things I wanted to say actually. Like, in all honesty, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, that teaming is killing both of them.
It's killing me. But yes,
well, Seth Rollins looks like a vagina completely.
Yeah,
and he's your world champion. So what is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I cannot stress enough, and I've been saying this ever since they started doing this. Why do they make Seth Rollins, like Basement said, look like he has a vagina? And I'm not shitting on women.
We're looking for equality, right? Not necessarily why does one have to be put down for the other one to feel superior in terms of men and women now.
Right.
But that's a bigger story than what I guess we're kind of talking about.
Right. They're supposed to be equals, and yet one is basically treated better than the other.
They have a shirt out called The Man's Man.
Exactly.
Fucking stab me in the heart.
So, what do you don't think he's cashing in, Bobbit? Do you think he's cashing in?
Yo, motherfucker, it's your boy, DJ Skinny Penis. My shucky ducky quack quack moment of the day is, I think he's gonna cash in, motherfucker.
This motherfucker can never be serious.
Feel better?
So you're thinking Brock Lesnar will cash in?
Hell yeah! I know my boy.
I honestly think they're gonna play the music and it's gonna throw Seth off and it's gonna lose.
But if he loses, doesn't that mean we have 2 new champions?
Yes. Yes.
I don't see that. Well, I mean, the titles mean nothing anyway, but I don't
Yeah.
see them going on Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. It just like the month before SummerSlam, unless they do a quick switch the next following Raw and they win them back or something. But then it's all pointless anyway.
Well, I think then Brock Lesnar will cash in on Baron Corbin. That's just I don't know what the fuck they're doing, really, to be honest with you. And Gina just joined us. How's it going, Gina?
Sup, guys?
What the fuck? Other guys.
Oh man, sorry I'm late.
That's all right. That's all right. Probably taking care of the children's.
Yes, it's chaos here today.
Oh, okay. So I posed a question because we just went over the Becky Seth versus Andrade Zelina segment. I can go back over it again. Do you think that Paul Heyman came out? Do you think Brock's going to cash in on Sunday?
It all depends.
Okay, elaborate.
Well, I think that there's a strong chance that he could.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to have them do it on Baron Corbin just simply because of what happened to Baron Corbin with the Money in the Bank last time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a strong possibility that he could cash in on Seth. And then that could lead ultimately to a SummerSlam match between Seth versus Brock Lesnar.
Okay. I mean, I'm with Basement. I don't think any cash-in's going to happen. They're just...
I mean, I don't think it's going to happen either, but I'm just saying if it does, then I would say that it's probably going to be on Seth over Baron just because of what happened.
Okay.
Well, Brock Lesnar has no storyline with Kofi Kingston, so him doing it would be like, oh, it's a swerve, but doesn't make any sense, and it totally obliterates what SmackDown has been building.
Right.
Also, that Paul Heyman promo, I don't know about you, man, but this was one of the worst Paul Heyman promos I've heard.
Yeah, I did wasn't even paying attention to it, to be honest with you.
He usually promos with such conviction in what he's saying, but he was like kind of all over the fucking place, and it just seemed like out of place. I don't know.
Right. No, I'm with
he
you.
seemed a little withdrawn from it, and I'm thinking maybe that's perhaps it's because of the 2 roles that he's playing now, kind of, because I mean he's been more active. He hasn't taken over Raw yet, but he's been more active behind the scenes.
I'm going to say this. I'm gonna disagree because he did this in ECW. He might be a little rusty. I could see, but
yeah, but I mean, how would he first be showing signs of rust now?
I think it's the message he had to actually bring across to the audience, where it's like the same tired old. We understand he's got Money in the Bank.
Well, and
that's
not
basically
only that,
all
but
he said.
I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do as far as with Brock, because obviously we know that Heyman is pretty much taking over Raw. So I'm curious as to what they're gonna do with him. Are they gonna keep Heyman with him as his mouthpiece, or is Brock gonna go on his own? Because that could very well tie into whether or not Brock actually is successful with his Money in the Bank cash-in.
True. We'll see. I mean, Brock doesn't need Paul Heyman. They really don't.
No.
They just have him with him because you associate Paul Heyman with Brock Lesnar.
Well, and not only that, but it's heel heat.
True. We'll see though. I don't know. We'll see. The next segment, well, it's not really a segment. It was a match announcement. Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman will be taking on each other in a last man standing match. Got over his spleen injury really quick.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ. But they did say it's a possible spleen injury. So, I mean, they didn't really... Everybody's like, oh, he's got a spleen. He can't wrestle. Guys, they said possible. And he doesn't have any fractures. So he'll be back and wrestling at Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm.
The next match, we got the Usos and the Miz versus the Revival and Elias. And again, I think this was an elimination match. Or
It was
was
2 out of
this?
3 falls.
Say it again.
2 out of 3 falls.
2 out of 3 falls. And the Usos and the Miz won. And I think they won 2-1. I think. I'm not sure. Because like I said, when it came to Raw, it was so fucking boring. We were actually, all of us were on the call.
Yep.
On a Skype call, and we weren't even fucking talking about fucking wrestling. In fact, we were laughing at fucking Basement because he was telling stupid jokes. So, not stupid jokes.
Surprise there.
He was being a silly ass, is what he was doing. So,
Surprise there.
so,
yeah, Rob was really bad.
No, but like this is another thing, the 2 out of 3 falls thing. Like, WWE seems to forget that like match stipulations are there to either end or build more towards a rivalry going on, not to alleviate commercial issues. You're using them the wrong way.
yes.
And when you do that, eventually the match means nothing. So
Yep.
when there is finally a feud that deserves a 2 out of 3, I'll be like, oh, are they doing this because commercials or?
Right.
Yes, yeah, I completely agree. It's too many stipulations. It gets boring. It gets very, very predictable. Like, I know you guys already talked about it, but with the Seth and Becky match, I mean, like, we knew what the fuck was going to happen.
Yeah, I said at the beginning, when did this become an elimination match? It made no sense to have it as an elimination match. It's just there to get them
to commercial. Well, and even Lance Storm tweeted out about that. He's like, okay, so wait a minute, it's an elimination match, but what would have happened if Seth would have been eliminated? Because then, like, they announced that not only was it an elimination match, but that it was women versus woman and man versus man. Like, they couldn't interact. So we knew what the fuck was going to happen as soon as the first elimination occurred.
Right. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just these 2 out of 3 falls and these elimination matches, and like Basement said, they're overdoing it. And what's gonna happen when they need it? Are they gonna when are they going to a commercial? And then they don't, and then you're sitting there like, why didn't they go to a fucking commercial? Because the match actually called for a 2 out of 3, and nobody gave a shit because they were waiting for the fucking commercial.
Well, they also do these matches. It's 2 to 3 falls. You get 2 falls literally within 2 minutes, and then there's commercials. So it leads me to believe, like, why not just fucking wait, do the commercial, and then do the fucking 1 fall match?
Right.
I understand the reasoning behind it. A lot of the times they're like, we know that when we present action on screen, it brings back viewership the most. But you're killing your product.
We were just talking about this last night. Like, we all grew up with a WWE era where they would continue wrestling. So like you would come back, and like JP was saying last night, you would come back and they would have the video up on the bottom of the screen giving you a little video recap of what happened. Really exciting during the commercial, so you didn't have to worry about it.
Right. I sorry, Wendy's crying. She's hasn't been feeling good today, so.
Poor girl.
I mean, I will say they need to get an actual solution to this commercial problem, because they've tried to solve it multiple ways, and every way seems like the only one that kind of worked, I guess, was picture in picture. But at the same time, they still did the rest hold bullshit forever anyway during them.
Well, and the bottom line was, I never really saw a problem with going to commercial during a match when they showed the recap when they came back. But now they go to so many freaking, it's not the commercials that people have a problem with. It's the fact that they cut to so many commercials.
Well,
so
JP knows
he's commercial time than we are wrestling.
Well,
JP's recorded that commercial time. He knows how long it is.
I did. We got 1 week. We got 57 minutes worth of commercials on Raw.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, don't know that they need to make money, but that's just too much.
That's like 14 commercial breaks in a 3-hour period. Because each commercial break is like 4 minutes almost. But the thing is, I proposed, and I don't know if anybody heard what I said, have a 15-minute match, then go to a commercial, come back, do a segment, move into another match, have a 15-minute match, go to another commercial. I mean, that's what they should do, and they don't do it. But they gotta go to these 14. They're still on this. Well, we gotta make our fucking revenue sales off of these fucking advertisements. They can't get rid of the fact that, hey, why don't we do wrestling and we might get viewers, and our advertising sales will still be there? I mean, I
Well, you know, and like back in the day, they used to advertise like on the actual set too. Like you had, like let's say on the barricades and stuff, you would see signs for like advertising and things like that in different places throughout the arena. So I don't know why they just can't do that, because you're still getting the fucking attention for whatever ad you're trying to do.
right. Yep.
They could do a bunch of product placement in the back segments too, and I would much rather see that than cutting to a full blown commercial. But I also feel like if they want to use these tactics to still, try to keep wrestling separate from the commercials, why don't you just use all of the tactics that you've developed over the year to include commercials and shows?
Correct.
Well, and if you have like you have, like let's say you have a sponsor, right? Let's say, I don't know, fucking Eggo's Waffles is a sponsor. Work that into the new day gimmick backstage, or Pepsi's a sponsor. Work it into a fucking promo backstage. Like, you can work stuff in to where you're actually advertising for the company without actually having to go to a commercial.
Right, like the Snickers commercials. Like, like, have fucking, like, Baron Corbin be like helping people up and doing something like that, and then somebody handing him a Snickers, you aren't you, something like that. I mean, yeah, going to commercials, they need their ad revenue. I get it. That's what it is today. That's what it's all about. They are trying to right the ship, but the way they're doing it is they're going about it the wrong way. They're gonna, like Basement said at the beginning, they're gonna run themselves into a corner again, and then they're gonna have to figure out how to get out of that corner. And they're gonna end up painting themselves in that corner they can't get out of. Next segment, we got Drake Maverick. All it was is a recap. It really wasn't even like a match. And then they went right to him, and it was over his honeymoon. So that's what the whole recap was. I'm not a fan of this shit. I know Gina loves it. I don't know how everybody else feels about it. I'm just honestly not a fan of the 24/7 title. Just not.
I like it because I like it mainly just because it's just something that's a little bit lighter, and it kind of, it's funny. I mean,
A
I
little
like
bit
it.
lighter. The whole show is like
But
pretty light.
that's not what I mean. Like, it's a funny segment that actually makes sense. Like, I mean, yeah, the title is ridiculous, but it leads to really funny segments, and it's not just on, the Raw. It's, these segments are going into Twitter, so they're having Twitter battles, and it ties into everything, and it just keeps it kind of fun. That's why I like it.
You see, I say the exact same thing, but I would like it more if the rest of the show took itself a bit more seriously, and that was like the escapism portion of it.
Right.
But like, it's like comedy upon comedy upon comedy done by porn actresses and actors. Like,
Well, and
also
if you
Drake
think
Maverick
back,
has stroke mouth.
he kind of does. But I mean, if you think back to like when most of us got into wrestling, which was like at the end of the Attitude Era, going into Ruthless Aggression.
Right.
Back then you had Edge and Christian, which were a comedy act. Kurt Angle was involved in that too. Stone Cold was even involved in it at certain angles, but the rest of the show was serious. You had those little glimpses, like Basement was just saying. So that would make it a lot better. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. In the next match, Rey Mysterio came out, and he said, "I'll take on anybody." He doesn't even have a title, but he's doing an open challenge. Is it the Rey Mysterio Open Challenge or what?
Ooh.
Well, Bobby
Bobby
Lashley
wrestles a fucking truck and gets run over.
Well, Bobby Lashley came out, and it was a squash match, essentially. Lashley ended up pinning Mysterio. I didn't even think the match lasted 3 minutes, to be honest with you. It was over in 3 minutes.
Oh, I can't even last three minutes.
Oh my
We're
god.
talking about wrestling, Bob, not masturbation.
I know.
Anyway.
I was talking about wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Jeez, get your mind out of the gutter.
I mean, we all pretty much permanently live there.
Why didn't they announced Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman? Why didn't they have Bobby Lashley wrestle in a match after they made that announcement? That would have made more sense. Why didn't they have Bobby Lashley come out and say, "Hey, I'm gonna take on somebody to get ready for my last man standing match," whatever. But yeah, they fucked that up. That's just me though. I don't know why they separated this. That was like a half hour after the announcement was made, and a Bobby Lashley comes out and squashes Rey Mysterio. I don't know if this is Rey Mysterio was goodbye or whatever.
Oh no, they're gonna give him a big goodbye when he actually retires.
Yeah, he's gonna get a big goodbye, like Basement said, run him over with the semi truck.
He's gonna wrestle till he's 100.
Like,
no,
the only thing the only thing that I don't like about Mysterio is like, why the fuck does he have a thong on his pants? I don't understand.
It's what they think of Rey Mysterio. The next segment was No Way Jose versus Cesaro. Cesaro ended up submitting Jose.
I'm sorry, man. This is where I was tapping out immediately because we got Rey Mysterio. The guy looks like his fucking whole body is fused together, and followed up by No Way Jose, who's in no way should be in the ring.
But
Right.
if you think about it, it made Cesaro look. Well, I mean, Cesaro doesn't need to be made to look strong, in my opinion. I mean, the guy is ridiculously strong, but it made him look really good going into Extreme Rules.
And then, what does anybody else think? Good talk.
I mean, as far as it goes for like the one thing that we kind of like breezed past and said a couple shitty things about, I will give WWE some credit that they're pushing a match that doesn't have anything to do with a title, and they did a pretty good job of building it, which is the Bobby Lashley Braun Strowman match.
Okay.
See,
so
I disagree.
I give
I
them
was
a bit
actually
of
going to
kudos
say
there.
that. I was actually going to say they're doing a better job with the Alistair and Cesaro match. Like, they kind of kept us in suspense.
Damn it!
I don't know about that.
JP, damn it. What? I'm allowed to have opinions.
No, and I understand that, but that comes. I was going to make. You ruined it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're fired. I'm just kidding. It's fine. It's fine. So y'all know that Cesaro is the guy that was knocking on Alistair's door, thanks to Gina. So I'm sure everybody watched the show. Well, if you didn't, you were a fool and missed that. So now you know. But SmackDown was actually better than Raw. I actually was able to sit through SmackDown quite well. It was an enjoyable show.
I wait for you to get there, but there was one part of that show that fucking killed me, and I'll wait for you to get there, and I'll try to chime in then. But oh my god.
Okay. And the segment that I hated, the Street Profits.
Yeah.
I fucking cannot stand the Street Profits. Cannot stand them. I watched them Wednesday, and they acted all fucking serious. They come out on Monday, and I'm telling you, Vince thinks they're fucking comedy.
They're crime time.
Yeah, exactly. They're crime time. But then they show up on Wednesday, and they're dead ass fucking serious. Which one are they?
Yeah, I agree.
You think they're ever gonna, like, when they actually come to the main roster, they're gonna be serious? No, they're gonna be fucking in the back with solo cups, sucking each other's cocks.
I can agree with that.
The strongest, like, African American faction that they have is the New Day, and the New Day, they were never taken serious. They started out as a comedy act. They're still a comedy act. It's just now they're actually pushing them.
But they're leagues beyond the Crime Time 2.0.
Yes. New Day is... God damn it. New Day is way better than Crime Time 2.0.
New Day, their whole 3 members are stars.
Right.
If they were solo wrestlers, they're still fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, Street Profit. Look, if they wouldn't
They're good wrestlers.
act like fucking whatever, I'm not even gonna go there
They're-
because everybody will think I'm a
They're
racist.
great athletes. It's just
Yes.
what they're doing on the main card is it's
I
not
don't even
good.
understand it though. Like, why are they there? They're just
there
in the
for the
back
party.
being like spectators.
They're
What
there.
party, man? Raw is like
exactly what
fucking.
Gina said, because
But-
that's what they said. They're there for the party, and it's like, what party
Yeah, they're
is
there to
going
bring the
on?
party. It's basically just a filler, but like they're not planning on bringing the Street Profits up at any point in time. I think
No.
what they're trying to do is the sales for the network have fallen a little bit, so I think that they're trying to use the Street Profits in order to entice people to be like, okay, what is this NXT thing that they keep on talking about, and bring the people in that way.
But why not use like Undisputed Era or something?
Hey,
A team with a bit
why
more
not?
clout.
I bet you they'd sell more than the Street Profits would, for sure.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Because
This is what I'm saying with the 24/7 title. Like, now they bring in these guys from NXT and they use them as comedy acts. Everything has to be this fucking comedy act for some
Comedy
reason.
act, yeah.
Even like your champion, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are now fucking in
Comedy
the
act,
back,
yeah.
cringe as fuck. Fucking dumb bitch.
Like,
Oh,
I
that
swore
just
she was
fucking-
having a stroke.
yeah.
Well, apparently Heyman has a big boner for the Street Profits. He was the one who made the call. They want Vince to bring most of it. It's like, let him do it.
I
Who?
like them. I like them in ring, and I could like them
Amen.
on the mic if they weren't these like the main roster version of them. I have no use for.
All right. I mean, I'm not a fan of Street Profits either way, so I still don't think they should have won the titles, but that's just me. Mike and Maria had a segment, and she looked at Mike and said, "Ice cream and pickles."
Biggest cliche ever. I want to say I've been pregnant 2 times with 2 different children, okay? And I'd never, not one time, I craved pickles once, but not pickles and ice cream together. Like, what the fuck, man? Who craves that shit?
I'm waiting for the moment where he looks at her and says divorce,
Yeah.
because that's what they're gonna like play up eventually. He's
Yeah.
always getting put down by her, and then eventually they'll be like, and then they'll disappear for a while.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Anybody else?
I don't think they'll even go that far. I think they'll just let him disappear one day and then say, oh, she had the kid, and they come back somehow.
Okay. Well, whatever. You're weird.
I mean, it's difficult to use. Like, they could have done something with Mike, but Maria, like, if she's gonna go eventually, because she's gonna have to go on mat leave, and he could go on pat leave. Who knows, right? But like, it's gonna be difficult for them to use them in a long-standing segment, regardless. So I guess they're going for like this. I mean, I feel like this is like closer to the Attitude Era in its bad portrayal of a relationship than
Yes.
anything else.
It's
But,
a bad
whatever, just
attitude era
wrap it.
segment, I would say. Worse than this segment is worse than the fucking Mae Young and Mark Henry bullshit.
I
I
like
fucking love
that was
the hand.
great.
It was so stupid. It was so stupid. But I
But that's what made it great, because like we were just discussing, like the regular programming was more on the serious side. So when you had little segments like that, whether it be Mark Henry and Mae Young, or Edge and Christian, or Kurt Angle and Vince
choppy your
McMahon,
pee-pee.
huh?
Choppy your pee-pee.
Exactly. Like when you had little things like that, or Mick Foley when he was the general manager, it added so much more to the show. And I think that they know that, but the problem is they're doing it too much now. So everything's just become just one giant fucking shithole.
Right.
They've had a tough time building serious stars. They saved the seriousness for the guys they really want to push to the moon, like Roman Reigns. And if it doesn't work that well with him, then you won't see it anywhere else. That's the only place you're going to see it.
Yep. Totally agree. Next segment, we had Nikki Cross and Bayley interview before their Beat the Clock challenge. The winner picks a stipulation for the winner gets to pick the stipulation for Alexa versus Bayley at Extreme Rules. Bayley gets Sarah Logan and Nikki Cross gets Dana Brooke. We're getting to see Sarah Logan and Dana Brooke wrestle on Raw. I'm going to say this. I was a big negative on Sarah Logan, she actually is improving. She's
Well, she
lost
can't get
weight.
any worse.
I mean, she's lost weight, and she's looking like she's actually learning from her husband. Because that's who's training
Well,
her.
why forget? I mean, maybe it's not her husband.
What?
It's
Her
his wife.
husband is training her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Dana Brooke, she had a nice spot in this match, in her match with Nikki Cross, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. Moving on, we had Truth and Carmella searching for the 24/7 title. Who cares? And then the Viking Raiders, they take on. I don't even remember who they took on. Heather just wrote down jobbers. Because that's essentially what
that's
they were.
because they were jobbers. They were like the Justin brothers or some shit like that.
Right.
They were young lions.
So the Viking Vikings, are the Raiders, whatever you want to fucking call them.
Sexual experience.
They end up winning, and guess what it leads to? This is what I've been talking about with this 24/7 title. You make the Viking Raiders a segue into the fucking 24/7 segment of them chasing the fucking title around.
Priorities are all fucked up.
It did lead to them beating the shit out of half the fucking roster, though. And then R-Truth standing in the middle of the ring and then, like, crawling out of the ring because he didn't want to get beat up. So, yeah.
I feel like if you went to, like, a gay bathhouse and you were like, I'll order the Viking experience, that's exactly what you would get. These two burly, hairy men come in and take times railing you from every hole.
That's actually what their finisher is called, the Viking experience.
I can imagine it.
Next we got Ricochet versus Luke Gallows. He beats Luke Gallows. And then we get Ricochet versus Anderson. Ricochet beats Anderson. Basement, what did you say during this match? Or this segment, do you remember?
From what I recall, I was basically saying that they were like... I was talking about Carl Anderson and like his worth as an individual wrestler, right?
Right.
Like, is that what you're alluding to?
Yes, but then you essentially, because look, essentially, Ricochet has beaten all three of the club.
An unstoppable force somehow. Like, get the fuck out of here.
How can I buy that the club is actually a formidable faction?
Yep.
If they're gonna get fucking beat by a 190-pound guy.
You kill a segment for you kill a faction for the propulsion of one guy that doesn't really need to be like rocket. He doesn't need a rocket ship. He doesn't need a rocket ship strapped to his back. In all honesty, like the guy will get exactly. He'll get over it regardless in the ring. But what you're doing essentially is killing guys that have already been they've been resurrected to be killed again and again and again. I don't know. They're dead to me.
Yeah, I don't care. I know Gina was high as hell on it, but what do you think now, Gina?
Oh, you mean on the turning AJ heel and shit?
Well, the turning AJ heel thing that's a good move, but
I wasn't all high up on it. I was very skeptical. Like, I was excited about it, but I was very, very skeptical in the same sense because I knew that they were going to end up doing this. Don't ask me how I knew, but I just was fucking WWE. That's how I knew. But now it's like, why? Why did they even form them back if they're just going to make them look weak?
Mm-hmm.
And this
because I mean, most people that are AJ Styles fans know where AJ Styles not where he came from, but where he came from prior to WWE, the fucking Bullet Club, which was like a take no fucking prisoners type of faction. And now you got him fucking looking like a clown in the ring, losing to a guy that's 85 pounds.
Right.
Just ridiculous.
And to be honest with you, I feel like Ricochet, he could have beat Luke Gallows, but then he should have lost to Carl Anderson because you're looking at one guy who's not like some huge fucking behemoth. Like, he's just a regular dude. Yeah, he's great in ring, but think about it logically. Is he really gonna run through two guys in 2 seconds? Like then you're building some sort of. Why does everybody have to be Superman?
Well, and not only that, but like, okay, yeah, like you said, losing to Luke Gallows kind of makes sense because he's a big guy, you know. But for me personally, I would have had him beat Luke Gallows, but lose to Carl Anderson because Carl Anderson.
That's what he
Anybody
said.
that actually, oh, is that whatever?
Isn't that what Basement said?
Yeah, it is, but then I don't know. I got twisted. But
No,
anyways,
sorry.
Like Carl Anderson is an amazing wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're gonna actually let him, or they actually want him to be built with the club, then they need to let him showcase how great of a wrestler he is. And they made him look weak as fuck against Ricochet.
They did. And they made the club. They even made AJ Styles look weak because he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He just stood there and watched it happen. Whatever. I warned against this. I knew this was gonna happen because of Ricochet. Because WWE, for some reason, they think they, like Basement said, they don't need to, but they feel like they need to strap a rocket to fucking Ricochet's ass and send him to the fucking moon. They don't need to. He's already
is
there.
Not ready.
He's
not
already
ready.
there. He doesn't need it.
He's there wrestling wise, but promo wise, he is not there.
No,
he is light years away on the mic to be in a position that he's going to be in way too prematurely.
I agree.
Well, and
I agree.
But I do feel like he's holding that mid card title, so I do feel like anybody that has that mid card title, if they're lacking in promo skills a little bit, then that's the perfect title for them to have. Just simply because the mid card is all about the wrestling.
Then stop strapping. Then stop strapping a rocket to his ass. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, if he goes on to beat AJ Styles 1-on-1, like that hurts AJ hugely
already beat
from
AJ
going to
1-on-1.
be. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
but in the same sense. But in the same sense, like, does it really hurt AJ? Because AJ's already established himself as one of the top guys in that company. So eventually he needs to take a step back a little bit and let other guys shine. That's how the wrestling.
I don't agree with that though, because not that doesn't happen for a lot of the other top guys. They don't take steps back most of the time. Roman Reigns gets fucking running into a wall.
Because
Never took a
Vince
step back.
has like this giant boner for fucking Roman. That and Roman is their top merch seller right now, so they're not gonna have him take a step back. And Ricochet is another top seller for merchandise, so they're gonna go with who the fans are wanting to see according to what they're buying for merchandise.
They need to start selling Ricochet butt plugs.
So we start the Beat the Clock challenge with Bayley versus Sarah Logan. Like I said, Sarah Logan looked pretty good. I mean, she didn't look great. She still has work to do. She is very young. She's only like 24, 25 years old. So she impressed me. She's growing. Is she gonna fucking grow into the person that I'm thinking WWE thinks she's going to be? Probably not. Bayley wins with a sunset powerbomb onto the bottom turnbuckle. And if you remember right, they're paying an homage back to when Alexa Bliss and Bayley had their match at the Kendo on us. See, that's what I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to have Alexa win and they were going to do another Kendo on a pole match. I really did.
I never want to be reminded of that fucking thing ever again.
Me neither. But I'm just like, oh my God, they're actually gonna fuck. I just had this funny feeling. Thank God it didn't come to fruition. But it had me worried there for a second. Would you guys? I'm Sarah Logan. Yeah, she still has ways to go. But what did you think? What did you guys think? Did you think she showed any improvement?
Fuck the Sarah Logan. That's what I say.
Why? I mean, you don't think she showed any improvement?
I mean, she showed a little bit of improvement, but let's get real. I mean, her gimmick is, unless they ultimately pair her with the Viking Raiders, her gimmick makes no fucking sense. I mean, I get it. She's supposed to be this like wild child kind of person, which made perfect sense when she was in the Riot Squad. But now that they busted up the Riot Squad, her gimmick makes no sense.
It when she was on the indie circuit, she was Crazy Mary Dobson.
Okay.
So what she is doing, that's who she is.
Okay.
That's what her gimmick was on the indies.
Why does she look so uncomfortable doing it though? Like
because WWE's not letting her go. They're not letting her do her thing. Like you have to go back and watch one of her matches on YouTube. I'm sure there's some there. She seemed pretty loose. I mean, she was a champion in one of the promotions, so she showed something. So there's something
well, I feel
there.
like she is getting better. She was brought up way too early because they wanted to force that women's faction thing that they were doing for a time.
Yeah, didn't we talk about that on Monday too? Like, why did they bring her up? And
we did.
I think the reason, and I said this Monday night, I think the reason they brought her up is because they didn't have anything for them to do down in NXT, and with the people that they had in NXT at the time, they had Asuka, and I think they had Asuka still, and Ember Moon, and
yeah, Ember was
Nikki
definitely
Cross, and Peyton Royce and Billy Kay were there, which I didn't mind Peyton Royce and Billy Kay in NXT. They come up to fucking WWE and they fucking totally just became fucking yes men. It's just cringy. But they had them down there, so there was nothing for them to do down there, so they called them up and they put them strategically with Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan as well, because that way they could hide the fact that these two were green as fuck.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's why they did it.
I think it was a huge mistake for WWE to split up the Riot Squad.
Yes.
I know Ruby was injured, but while Ruby was out, they could have at least kept Liv and Sarah together as like a tag team or something. It was a huge mistake because now you have, Sarah Logan had a match, but you have Liv Morgan over on SmackDown by herself, who has not been showcased at all except for in house shows.
Mm-hmm. Is it just me, or did they bring up all these women's factions and then started like dismantling them and then introduced a tag team title for the women? Like, nothing makes sense.
Yeah, they did.
But and that's what I didn't understand, because the Riot Squad, they were dismantled after the women's tag titles were announced. So I didn't understand why they didn't keep two of them together at least. I mean, which they could possibly still do, because I think Ruby is technically still on Raw and Sarah's on Raw.
I think so.
But I don't know what they're gonna do with Liv over on SmackDown, because she's tiny and she's good.
Well, she's still green as fuck. Same size as Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, but I mean, but what I'm saying is, like, Alexa Bliss was, when she got called up, she wasn't perfect, but she was pretty ready from NXT. They kept her down there until she was ready. Liv Morgan, they didn't, so she's still green as fuck. I mean, she's good, but she's green, so I don't know what she's gonna do on her own.
Right. And I don't remember what the time was that Nikki Cross won, or Bailey won, but I think it was like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or something like that. So then Nikki Cross and Dana Brooke win, and Dana Brooke had a nice spot here. She actually, I don't think that she's going to be glorified in any way, shape, or form, but she had a nice backflip off the apron from when Nikki Cross was trying to trip her. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. It was a nice spot. It showed that she is athletic and she can do it. It's just I don't know what it is that she can't do. Why she isn't doing it.
I don't think it was ever a question of necessarily her wrestling skills. I think it was more her promo skills that were in need of work, which is why she never got the push that we were all expecting her to get. But she is getting a little bit better with the promos as the time goes on. So maybe we will see her get a push because she is incredibly athletic, especially when it comes to the gymnastics type shit.
Yeah, she that spot. You know, I'm not a fan of spots off the apron. That's not easy to do. What she did. I mean,
No,
it
not
was
at all.
smooth. It was really smooth. I'm not gonna lie. Basement. I don't know what you thought of it. The match itself, it was like a squash match essentially. It was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I think the match was. So Nikki.
Sorry, I had to step away. I'm back.
Oh, that's fine. We're just talking about Nikki Cross and Dana Brooke. We're talking about that spot where she did that I can't even think of what it's called. I don't want to call it a backflip where she did that gymnastics move off the apron onto the floor.
I mean, I will say, like, I was really rough on Dana Brooke, and I still kind of am because she was like botchamania.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see the improvement in her too. I think like at the end of it all, I think she'll be in WWE for a very long time because she seems to be the type of person. She's like reminds me of Natalia, but like not technical.
Correct. I was gonna say that, but I didn't know how to word it properly. Like I said, Nikki Cross ends up winning the Beat the Clock challenge, so she gets to pick the stipulation, and the stipulation is a 2-on-1 handicap match at Extreme Rules. Now, I will give WWE credit; they built matches.
Yeah.
They built matches. I mean, you can sit here and say, well, they never built to anything. They did build, kind of stupidly, but they did build to, you know, ultimately they're doing a story within a story where what if Nikki Cross beats Bayley, Alexa Bliss wins that title?
Well, that's going to be the story of the handicap match, right? It's going to be probably Alexa Bliss trying to stop Nikki Cross from getting the pin and shit like that.
And she'll ultimately get the pin, and then Nikki Cross, or Gina said, she thinks that, is it you that thinks that Nikki Cross might turn on Alexa Bliss?
Everybody thinks that Alexa is like plotting against Nikki. Like plotting to turn, and I actually think that it might be the other way around. I think that they're gonna, because the immediate reaction from everybody is gonna be, oh, Bliss is gonna turn on her because she's done it how many times.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they might have a little bit of a spin on that and have Nikki actually be the one who turns on Alexa ultimately. I mean, either way around, we know where it's leading. It's gonna lead to a feud with Alexa versus Nikki.
Yep.
But that's great that we know what it's going to lead to because that means that they are long-term storytelling.
Yep. And then, Bobbitt, Trek. Either one of you?
It was unnecessary. I mean, they were good matches. I liked, like you said, Sarah Logan's definitely improved. I think Dana Brooke was pretty good in there, but it's just like it just felt like, why, you know?
Why what?
Why the Beat the Clock challenge? The only thing it felt like for Beat the Clock challenge was to cover up the fact that Alexa wasn't there because she has a sinus infection. I guess they said now.
Okay. Well, whatever she had. I know she was sick, and that's why she wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't because she didn't want to fucking work. She was legit sick, I guess.
Yeah.
Then they had Seth and Becky backstage with Corey Graves. I didn't catch any of this, but Corey Graves said something at the end of the fucking promo, like that's not at all what I meant or something like that. I don't fucking know.
I didn't catch that either.
I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care about Seth and Becky.
I'm not going to lie. Whenever Seth and Becky come on the screen now, I pretty much check out.
I'm with you. Fuck them both.
I'm just like, I'm done like checking out right now until they're done because I God, I just don't have time for it.
I feel like Becky's character has taken over the WWE as far as Raw goes. It's taken over her in a bad way, and it's just absolutely killed Seth Rollins.
Agreed.
Well, and that's the thing. Like they could have done so many great things with Becky because she did have the proper heat, so to speak, at first. but they turned it and they shoved her down our throat, and they're still doing it, and they Romanized her.
They have. Speaking of Roman, we had at the beginning of the show, and I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show, and they were talking about this throughout the show. Shane and Drew were going to take on Roman, and Shane's choosing of a partner. So all night long, Shane and Drew were walking around backstage, trying to find somebody to take on.
To tag with Roman.
And thank you. And they found one really short guy with the beer. He was the beer delivery guy or beer person. Beer here at the fucking stadium or whatever. And you know what I'm talking about, those people.
Mm-hmm. A vendor?
Yep, the beer vendor. And then they were walking around and it's like towards, I think it was like right after the Nikki Cross or right before the Beat the Clock challenge. They seen a guy, his name was revealed as Gary Garbett, and they said, we'll pay you $5,000 just to stand in the apron, just like Nicholas, when fucking Braun Strowman, where Braun Strowman picked his opponent at WrestleMania 34, and they were going to pay him $5,000 to tag team with Roman, and the guy had a limp, he was a janitor. And next thing you know, he's coming out, Gary Garbett comes out wearing I wouldn't even call it a lucha libre mask. I would call it a mask.
Yeah, it's just a mask.
And they do the match at first because it looked like we're sitting here watching the show and it's like, oh my God, it's Kofi Kingston. It has to be. I mean, it makes sense. Kofi Kingston helps Roman Reigns. Ultimately, it was.
I knew.
Go ahead, Gina.
I was just gonna say I knew who it was because as soon as he hit the certain moves, I was like, okay, that's that person.
Yeah, we all pretty much called it as soon as he started executing his moveset. But I also felt like these segments in the back where Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre are looking for like who is going to be his partner, it would have made more sense if they had like Roman being shown entering a locker room and like maybe one or two different people leaving afterwards, so that there was like some sort of reason he would have fucking teamed with the janitor. Like otherwise, it was just fucking during the back. It's like this guy.
There was a reason though, Basement, but there was a reason because Roman couldn't pick his partner.
Yeah,
Shane was picking his partner.
Yeah, Shane
okay, I missed that entirely.
Yeah, Shane. That's why I said it was a partner of Shane's choosing. So that's why I knew they were gonna pick like a janitor. Or they were gonna pick really, but anyway.
All right.
Well, when he came out and he was running to the ring, it could have been a couple different people. We knew like stature wise, it could have been Kofi. I don't know what he would have done with his hair because it was that mask was pretty fucking strapped down.
Right.
But yeah, like once he started executing his wrestling moves, we all knew. It
ended up being Cedric Alexander. He ended up Gary Garbett. Cedric Alexander took the pin. We talked about this. I would have made tons more sense if they would have done this last week instead of this week. But they fucked up. WWE fucked up because I don't think Roman was on Raw last week, was he?
No.
He wasn't even on SmackDown. Was he on SmackDown?
No.
Yeah, he was. He took on Dolph Ziggler.
No, that was this week.
That was this week.
That's what I'm saying. I was talking about this
last week.
I thought you were talking about last week.
Was he on at all last week?
No.
Roman. Okay, so that's why they didn't do it, but they should have, and then gave Roman the week off this week. That would have made more sense. But whatever. Point is that they're putting Roman on both shows. And kudos to him for beating cancer and all that shit. That shit was not fake for all you fuckers out there that think it was. They're still pushing him. I don't know why. I thought he didn't want to be pushed, but WWE has this thing where it's because he's the top merch seller, and WWE has always done that. Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, but Stone Cold Steve Austin's a different fucking story. He could do it. Hulk Hogan's a different story. He had the charisma to be the top guy. That's why he was pushed the way he was, or is, whatever. Stone
And
Cold
I
Steve
don't think
Austin,
that
the same way.
I don't think that Roman is necessarily lacking in charisma. I think it's just the promos that they're pushing on him are not him. Like they're not something that he would typically say, so he's not comfortable with them.
He's organic. He's a heel.
I'll be right back.
You can see it in his he's subdued. It's like they shoot him up with fucking ecstasy before he goes out there, and fucking he starts talking, and it's just like draws on, and it gets boring. That's what he just doesn't have, that charisma on the mic to me. Not saying
Man,
he doesn't.
I see his
in-ring
mouth move.
What's that?
I see his mouth move, but the words that come out are not his own.
No.
Like he is 100% reading a script all the time, and he's got a hard time selling that script because, like Gina said, I don't think it actually is something that it feels natural to him.
Correct. And I agree. I agree with that. I think he could do it, but he'd have to do it as a heel. I think he'd be better off as a heel. They just won't ever do it because he's a top merch seller. Just like the New Day. They're never going to turn the New Day on each other because they're the top merch sellers. Until they're not the top merch sellers, they're not going to fucking do it. They're not going to turn them. That ultimately ended the show. Roman Reigns standing in the ring saying wide. Cedric Alexander said, I had to give it a shot, which, fuck it. I mean, why not? Who cares? Almost worked. I mean, it is to get him on TV, but it was all for naught. He ended up losing. What did you guys think of? I thought Raw sucked. It was boring.
Yeah, Raw was fucking trash.
It was garbage. Trek?
It was boring. The week before was really good, and they bookended it like we said with exciting stuff. You know, you start off with a good explosion, you end it with kind of explosion. Monday night this week was just like blah. Yeah, it's like it should have been better because it's a go home show, getting everybody ready for Extreme Rules, and you know, it made me ready for a nap.
Yep, Bobbit. He must fall asleep, like I said. Gina, you back yet?
No, I didn't. No.
No. Go ahead.
One question. I was in the bathroom.
What did you think of Raw?
It was trash. I'm gonna be honest.
Attaboy.
Not even Skinny Penis could have saved that giant heap of a mess.
It was absolute garbage. I can't agree more. Heather, I know she's trying to put Wendy down. We haven't heard from her. Her yet. Is Gina back yet? Because I don't want to start the SmackDown segment until she gets back, because SmackDown actually started off pretty damn good, if I might say so myself.
I will say this for Raw, like you can see them trying to focus on what is essentially going to be matches, the main matches on Extreme Rules. The problem is the main match that they've got going for their champion is this intergender tag match, winner take all. I hate the idea. And the build to everything, including and involved in that, has been absolutely atrocious.
This intergender tag team match is WWE's way of giving you an intergender match. You're never going to get an intergender match in WWE unless it's a squash match.
Well, there's a reason behind that, though, because they were going to do Dean Ambrose versus Nia Jax.
Oh,
but then if you remember at the Royal Rumble, when Randy Orton KO'd Nia Jax, if you remember,
Yes.
a bunch of fucking SJW assholes started screaming, "Oh, how can they let him get away with doing that? That's women abuse and all this shit." And they lost their collective minds. So then intergender was therefore null and void.
She
in
walked out
WWE.
and entered the men's Royal Rumble. Like, what do you expect for it to happen to her?
Exactly.
No, they expected her to win it. That's why. Yeah. So what did you think of Raw? You know,
I'm gonna say shit and a half out of 10.
Zack Sabre out of 10. Anyway.
All right, fuck up. I love Zack Sabre.
Fuck Zack Sabre Jr.
Fucking leave my Zack Sabre Jr. alone.
So we get to SmackDown Live. Now, I went into this show thinking, oh my God. Because look, guys, Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are not taking over until after I have heard Extreme Rules now or SummerSlam. That being said, SmackDown started off with Shane announcing, because Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler started fighting in the parking lot, and Shane McMahon sent Kevin Owens home and canceled the main event match between him and Kevin Owens. So the show starts, Shane McMahon comes out, and Kevin Owens cuts a pipe bomb. Now, it's not a pipe bomb. I said it on Twitter. People call me your fucking shit. Everybody on Twitter was like, oh my God, he's saying what every WWE fucking fan has been saying for fucking months, saying how fucking Shane is getting too much TV time. WWE knows Shane McMahon's getting too much TV time. They're doing it on purpose so that they could get this reaction out of everybody. That's exactly why they're doing what they're doing with Shane, I think, is to get the reaction that they're getting by what Kevin Owens said. Now, that being said, it was a great promo, but it was a work shoot. It was not a shoot. Can everybody agree with that?
Exactly.
100%.
It was a great promo. It was a great way to open the show. It got everybody excited for the show. Okay, we're going to see something, but we still got a lot of Shane McMahon tonight, or on Tuesday night. We did. We got a lot of Shane McMahon because they're going to keep doing it until this feud is over between him and Roman Reigns. Then it moves on. The show actually kicked off with Shinsuke and Finn Balor having a match. It was a non-title match.
Yeah.
I gonna say this. I wish they would have kept these two apart until they actually did the match or had this match at Extreme Rules.
Are they having the match in Extreme Rules?
No, they're not.
Oh, I was gonna say I didn't think they were.
I didn't mind the match itself. It established Nakamura. I don't want to say it established Nakamura, but Nakamura looked good.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Finn Balor didn't look weak. He looked strong. He lost. I don't know why I get why people get upset when the champion loses in a non-title match, but it was a non-title match. That's why the champion lost.
But you know what?
They've done it before where the non-title match, the champion loses. Now, this is going to build to Shinsuke getting a title shot probably at SummerSlam, which I don't mind.
Well, and for me, this proves that, like, even though WWE has not been listening, okay, they have not been listening, but this right here kind of proves that they're kind of turning the table, or they're beginning to turn the table, because they're starting to listen to the fans. With Kevin Owens' quote-unquote pipe bomb, he actually threw out Shinsuke Nakamura's name in that line of names that he said from backstage. And then all of a sudden we see not only Nakamura get a match against a champion, but we see Nakamura come out, and Corey Graves kept on hammering home the fact that nobody has seen what Shinsuke can do yet.
No.
And that he is a master in the strong style type of wrestling, and we saw him be able to showcase that a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
in this match. So I think that it all tied together really, really well. And I think that WWE, they are starting to listen a little bit now because they don't have a choice but to, but they're not going to listen to everything. They
No.
can't.
They can't. And I don't want WWE to listen to everything that the fans say, because then why do they even have? Why don't they just let a fan a week fucking book the show? Because then they're gonna
Exactly.
fucking book it the way they want, and then the fucking show is gonna be all fucked up.
Well, and not only
Who's gonna
that,
be
but the
fighting
bottom
who?
line is, I'm sorry?
No, I'm just who's gonna be fighting who at pay per view? That because
Yeah.
ultimately these shows are to build to pay per views, and they don't build to pay per views because we're not getting a build. I mean, we're getting matches. The matches are getting built, but we're not getting a build to the matches. The go home shows are not go home shows anymore. They're just another show.
They're just another show, yeah.
The pay per view is actually the go home show. It's the payoff.
Yeah.
It's stupid. They do a shit backwards. But Shinsuke wins with the Kinshasa. He looked pretty good. And I'm telling you all right now, if you have not, you can say, well, I've seen Shinsuke in NXT. Yeah, but you go watch him in New Japan. I am fucking telling you, even in NXT, he holds back a little bit. He's lets loose in New Japan. Gina can vouch for
yeah.
that. The guy holds nothing back. Because here's the difference between New Japan and WWE. They actually fucking hit each other.
Mm-hmm.
You see it land. A basement, he says it all the time. That when they throw their elbows, they're hitting each other. They're not holding anything back. There's a big difference. Big difference.
Child, what are you doing?
What? Oh.
Sorry, it's my kid.
No. Shane, Drew, and Elias come backstage and are talking about how they will out physical and outsmart Roman and The Undertaker. Whatever. Again, it's Shane and Drew. We've just seen Shane and Drew. It's like every other segment has Shane and Drew in it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get Samoa Joe and the Kofi vignette from previous week, and then they actually do an interview later. Samoa Joe cuts a backstage promo talking about all those near and dear to him, Kofi Kingston, and most importantly, the WWE title that he will lose. That's Samoa Joe cutting a promo saying that he's gonna ruin Kofi Kingston's life. I think is ultimately what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Then we get Nikki Cross minus Alexa again for the contract signing. We need to change Alexa Bliss to Alexa Bless because Nikki Cross has an accent.
Alexa, bless.
Bailey tells Nikki that she's been being manipulated. So they're telling this story of people trying to tell Nikki that she's being manipulated by Alexa Bliss, which I'm starting to kind of get on Gina's bandwagon here, that Nikki Cross is playing Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss. I'm sorry. I did not.
But if you think about it, I mean, think back to what Nikki said. She said, when it comes to play, nobody plays better than Nikki.
True.
Oh, sorry, Nikki.
Nikki. My name is Nikki Cross. Up to this point, what did you guys think of the show? I mean, it was okay. The pipe bomb kind of kept everybody going.
Mm-hmm.
But you could see that WWE was getting formulaic again as they were doing the show was going on. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I personally think like just like the previous Raw, WWE has done some good things in having like an explosive intro to the show and having that intro also be the outro eventually. But outside of that, the fucking rest of the show is pretty much what we've seen every week for Raw and SmackDown. Like they're making strides in the right direction, but at the same time, there's still huge problems.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
But I mean, you know, you can't fix something overnight. It's
No,
gonna
you
take some
can't.
time. But the problem that I'm having is that there's been so many times within the past year that I thought, okay, WWE's finally got it. They're gonna get back on the right path, and then they fuck it all up all over again. So I am not holding my breath.
No, I'm not either. Nikki Cross then gets to take on Carmella. Nikki Cross ends up winning with a spinning neck breaker. I don't know what she called that finishing move.
The necky.
The necky.
The
No, I'm
necky
kidding. I
breaker.
don't know.
But she ended up winning with the spinning neck breaker, and then they go to a commercial. Again, they were doing commercial after commercial. But
Yeah.
they didn't have. Did they have any 2 on elimination? I don't think they did any
They
elimination
did
matches.
not on SmackDown because SmackDown still does the video.
Yeah,
Like if
do-
they're
do
still in the middle
the-
of a match.
Yeah, they do the picture-in-picture. The next segment, we finally get to see the Iconics.
Oh fuck my life.
So they came out and were whatever they do, and they pan over and there's Kyrie, Asuka, and Paige. Now, if you remember, I think it was when was that? Like 3 weeks ago, a month ago, maybe, that they were in Japan. Kyrie and Asuka had to win a match in Japan against the Iconics, and they would get a title shot. Well, Paige goes, well, let's do it tonight. And Billy Kay says, well, no, I'm sick. And both of them said some different.
She's got the
I can't
bird
remember.
swine flu.
Mad cow disease. One said mad cow disease, and the other one said bird flu. That's what it was. And
Yeah.
now there's a new disease out there called mad cow bird flu disease. I can believe because to me Billy Kay looks like a mad cow bird.
She does.
Um,
Sorry, Austin. Ronnie's Austin, but it's true.
she's whatever.
She looks like a pizza pocket with a fucking wig on.
Right?
Oh, God.
When Brantley, I've seen the Nakamura Styles match, Wrestle Kingdom 10, the only time they ever met. Fantastic match. You want to see
amazing.
You want to see a fucking match? That's the match they should have had at WrestleMania, and they did not let them two go. If they would have let them two go, that match would have done better than anything they have ever done.
I will say this. When I went to TLC a few years ago, the one thing, okay, so like you remember Bray had the
Bird flu?
measles.
No, he had the
Mom.
no.
He had the
wasn't the mumps.
He had the
wasn't it
adultery.
meningitis? The meningitis
Yeah, that's
thingy.
right.
yeah, meningitis. That's it. No, I thought it was the measles. But anyways,
Nope.
he had something. So the match got canceled, and they rescheduled it as fucking AJ Styles versus Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I loved about that was they let those two go. That was not only just being there, but watching it when I got home. It was a great match. But I will say this: if that match would have happened in New Japan, it would have been better, like
I
even better
agree.
yet. But WWE did a decent job with that match. They should have done the same thing with Nakamura and AJ.
I agree.
Well, they fucked up Nakamura and AJ because that was like their 5th match at that point. Like, the fuck, man.
Well, no, that was the WrestleMania match was their first match. They
Yeah.
did 5 after that.
Oh, yeah, but okay, yeah, you're right.
It's all right. I know, I'm always right. But anyway, I'm just kidding.
Keep my ass.
Well, you're not always right.
So I don't know when they're doing this tag team match. So it's probably gonna be at it's probably gonna be at the Raw or the SmackDown or SmackDown after Extreme Rules. I don't think they're doing it at Extreme Rules. I didn't see it on the card. So, yeah. So Roman Reigns cut a promo and he's saying Dolph is not ready for the big day. It should have said big dog. I don't know why I said big day. I think the New Day were coming on right after that. In fact, next note, New Day. They were not ready. He was not ready for the big dog. Is anybody ever ready for the big dog?
I mean, he was not
I'm
my
ready
type.
for the big dog.
I mean, I'm ready for the big dog.
It sounds like he's gonna come and like butt fuck the shit out of me, man.
I mean, yeah, there it is. Heather says the meningitis outbreak that hit JoJo, Bray, and Roman.
Yeah, I could. You're right. I mean, as soon as you said meningitis, I knew you were right, but
And
I could have sworn it was a measles outbreak for
It's
some
not.
odd
It's not the one that can kill you either. It's just.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it. I don't remember which one it that can kill you, but the other one. Heather
Isabella Glaze.
Heather knows. I look. Roman Reigns and Dolph Ziggler is the main event because that's what Shane did instead, because fucking Dolph Ziggler came and complained to fucking Shane that he wanted he wanted to be the main event because he is the main event. He said, "You are a main event guy," so he put him in the fucking match with Roman Reigns. Then we got the New Day versus New Day, Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan and Heavy Machinery. They all come out, cut a promo.
This was my favorite
Otis-
part of the night.
Go ahead, Gina. I'll let you go.
I don't even remember what the hell happened before this, but obviously, okay, the New Day came out, they cut their promo, and they were talking about touching tips of titles, and it's just very, very sexual, like Big E usually does. And then following that, Daniel Bryan and Rowan came out, cut their little promo. But then my favorite part,
Sorry.
fucking Otis and Tucker came out, and the whole thing was just funny. They talked about being like blue collar boys and all this stuff, but when Otis said he was coming, when they cut to Xavier Woods' face, I lost my shit because he's looking at Big E and he goes, "He's coming." Did he just say he was coming?
Yes, I mean
I lost my
so
fucking
then
shit.
yep. I mean it was pretty good promo because that's gonna be one of the matches at Extreme Rules. It's gonna be the New Day and Rowan and Bryan versus Heavy Machinery.
Yep.
So they had a
I'll be right
three-way
back.
match between Xavier Woods, Otis, and Daniel Bryan. Graves said something that was literally funny, like almost right at the beginning of the match. He said Otis is uncle and father are the same person. I mean, Otis acts like a goofball. He acts like a he acts like a redneck. Okay, it's in a funny way, but so Graves said Otis's uncle and father are the same person, which I thought was funny. I laughed at it. During the match, the other three guys, Daniel Bryan and Rowan. No, excuse me. I can't think of his name. Tucker. Eric Rowan and Big E all got into a scuffle, and they ended up getting ejected. So Mike Chioda, I like Mike Chioda. His roughing, I like the way he refs. Now he's the new Earl Hebner, so he takes a lot of bumps because it's Mike Chioda. But who ended up winning this match? Did I get that? Otis ends up defeating Xavier Woods with the caterpillar and then that slam thing that he does. That
Compactor.
We already said Caterpillar there, Track. Catch up.
No, the compactor.
It's not the compactor. That's the finishing move between him and Tucker. I think it's just a power slam like type deal thing. So he ended up winning, which tells me, for all you Heavy Machinery fans, that they're probably not winning tag team titles.
Yeah. If we go by their usual formula.
It's gonna be the New Day. Next segment. What'd you guys think of the match?
I
Well,
enjoyed it. I had a really fun time watching it. I love seeing the outside interference for this. For once, usually I hate the outside interference, but it actually was pretty cool. And then I like seeing that Otis actually got to win.
Yeah, I mean Otis and Tucker are pretty good in the ring. I don't mind them. Go ahead, Basement. You were gonna say?
I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch this part of SmackDown yet, so it's hard for me to comment. But I saw like a bit of the highlights of this specific match.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got like the tag team division for the longest time has been an absolute pile of crap, except for a couple tag teams.
Yeah.
So I like to see that they're actually using heavy machinery. They're actually like putting them out there in like a decent light, like instead of just disappearing them.
Well, and I feel sorry, I just came back, but I feel like with heavy machinery, yeah, they do a lot of comedy acts with them, but when you have them pinned up against the New Day, it all becomes pretty much one segment, and that's like the center. I mean, yeah, every once in a while you have the 24/7 title going around, but that's like the center comedy act on SmackDown, whereas Raw has like nothing but comedy.
Right. Yep. Totally agree. But it was a decent match. They let him wrestle. Otis, like I said, ends up getting the win. I didn't exactly see. I think it's a power slam thing that he does that he ends up
My
winning.
future husband.
Yeah.
Take some weights, baby.
You said future ex-husband.
My future ex-husband. That is correct.
Next segment we got was Ember Moon, and she comes across Sonya and Mandy again. They're having a tag team match next week. If Ember Moon cannot find anyone, she will do it herself. I seen her on Twitter say, "What do you think, A?"
Yeah, she's been talking to A. It's a Pretty Little Liars reference.
But
Oh
isn't,
God.
I understand that, but isn't it could be somebody that we don't know. We got the Ali promo. I'm not even paying attention to the guy. I don't care.
I loved his promo though.
What
I
did
did. I loved it.
Go ahead, elaborate on what he did.
I mean, he's basically just saying that like no matter what anybody says or does to him, he's there to combat evil and like bring goodness to the WWE. So like he basically says essentially evil's not going to stop him, and the only way that you lose to evil is if you don't show up to the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that was essentially the promo. But with his conviction that he has behind his words, and especially with like his past as a police officer and stuff, like this whole good guy persona, it's not just a persona, it's who he is. So I think that's why I like him so much, because his character is based 100% on who he is as a person.
Okay. I mean, I'm not a fan of Ali. I'm not a fan of his style of wrestling. It's just me. I don't know. I just, whenever he comes on, I just turn off.
Well, I mean, you know me, I like my flippy shit, so
Yeah, well, fuck your flippy shit. I forgot they did another segment with Shelton Benjamin too. And I forgot to write that down. And they asked him the question. I can't remember who it was. It wasn't about. Oh, who do you think Dolph Ziggler can beat Roman Reigns? And of course, Shelton Benjamin's doing that sinister look thing, and he says yes, and then walked away. I don't know what they're doing with Shelton Benjamin. He is almost 50 years old. He's probably back. He's probably one of those guys that's helping these younger guys, because he knows how to wrestle. He's my kind of guy. I like his kind of wrestling. When he was with Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, when they had that whole storyline going, when he was younger, he was really good. Really good. I mean, he's way older now. He was in New Japan. He was doing things as well. So he's wrestled all over the world. So, but I don't know exactly what he said, because all I can do is discussion of last week. We're talking about how he's sticking a hot dog up his ass or something. I don't know.
What?
Well, remember,
Hey, it's not there for this promo.
I don't know what he's doing. Whoa, you all right? Then we get Aleister Black, and Gina already ruined it, but Aleister Black
Sorry.
is sitting there. No, it's all right. They had the person that said was going to wrestle Aleister Black was not going to show up, but then he started talking, and then somebody came out, and I kind of had an idea of who it was. I knew it wasn't Bray Wyatt because Bray Wyatt doesn't dress nice. So Cesaro sits down and has a big shit-eating grin on his face, and he has
Oh
his.
God, I can't. I can't with that fucking mouth guard. I can't.
He took it out, and he started talking.
Yeah, with the fucking braces.
Well, he has
don't
to
get me
have
wrong.
the
I don't
brace.
blame the guy. He has to have
He
them.
has
But
to have
Jesus Christ.
But so we'll talk about that when we get to our predictions. It's one of the matches. I don't know if it's on the kickoff show, but that could be the match that steals the night, because Cesaro to me can do it. He can work. I don't think he's winning, but he can wrestle. They've got to do something with Aleister Black, and they're finally doing something with Aleister Black. Before we get to our last segment, there is one thing that we have not seen. It's been 3 weeks, and I called it, and it's Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see why I don't give a shit about Bray Wyatt? Why should I care?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to Matt Hardy's Twitter page, but Matt Hardy he has essentially became broken again, like the original broken. I'm not talking about WWE broken, the broken.
Yeah.
No, he's broken again.
Whatever.
And him and his wife have both kind of been attacking WWE a little bit for not allowing him to run with the broken gimmick. So I honestly think that Matt will be coming back as broken Matt Hardy, and I think that they're going to put Bray back with Matt.
I don't want this at all.
Oh, me neither. I don't want to see it at all.
But they've done it already, and they executed it poorly. So don't make me see it again. Bray
But
Wyatt has disappeared. He came back slightly different than he was before. They do a billion promos for him and then disappear him again. Like, he's just been so mishandled on the main roster. It's ridiculous to the point where nobody's gonna give a fuck anymore, man.
Well, the thing is, like, the only reason why I think that they're going to put him back with Matt in the actual broken gimmick is, one, Matt obviously is hinting on it big time on Twitter. And at one point in time, Bray had actually, when he was issuing out those apologies or whatever to all of the people that have, or the forgiveness to people that had done him wrong, he actually sent one to Matt, and he said that he missed him. And Matt says, "Don't worry, my brother, I will see you soon." So for me, that's alluding to the fact that they could possibly be paired up again.
I don't care.
Just release Bray Wyatt if this is what they're gonna do with him. And in my honest opinion, it's like doubling up on the gimmicky bullshit. Like, I can get past the Firefly Funhouse. There's parts of it segment that I really enjoy, and they will not hit with him when the iron is hot. Like, they just seemingly want to run it out forever, and then he's gonna have a feud with another guy that's not even on TV. Like, I just, oh man,
Yeah,
I can't get behind it.
I can't either. I'm sorry. I don't want to see the broken gimmick. This is dead to me.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
the only thing that like makes me hopeful with that is if they actually, like, okay, with Eric Bischoff taking over SmackDown soon, I'm thinking that they might actually let Matt run with it and have a little bit of creative pull as far as the character goes. Because the only reason why the broken gimmick, it didn't work in WWE the first time because they couldn't use the actual broken gimmick because they were in that lawsuit. Well, then when they won the lawsuit, by that time he was already broken, Matt Hardy. So they fucked it up big time with that. And they also fucked it up by splitting him up with Brother Nero. Like, he has to have Brother Nero, but Brother Nero's also injured right now. So I think that's why they're going to bring in Bray. And then when Jeff comes back, he's going to go back into the Brother Nero.
Well, I'm sorry, and this is what I'm gonna say right now, and I said it when they fucking started this shit. The only way this shit is going to fucking work is if they bring Matt Hardy, Rebby Hardy, Senor Benjamin, the fucking Vanguard One, and Brother Nero. And they have to do it. They had to do it now. Back then, they didn't do it now. So why should I care about it now? That's my thing with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
No,
mean, I
it's dead.
completely agree with you. I just have a feeling that is going to be what they end up running with as far as like with Matt Hardy. Anyway.
Okay.
But I mean, like, in
continue
all honesty,
talking. I'll be back.
They
Okay.
caught lightning in a bottle with Matt Hardy. Like, Matt Hardy caught lightning in a bottle when he originally did that gimmick. And it
Mhm.
got over. It was super gimmicky, but it got over and it became viral. It's very difficult to replicate that.
Well, I mean, on Twitter he's broken, but yeah, it's a little bit different than what it was when he was in TNA. Because he has these like whole running segments on Twitter where he ends it with "You don't know how hard it is to be Matt Hardy," and I think the problem that they're running into is I don't think because like Rebby Hardy has a lot of heat backstage with a lot of people in WWE. So I don't think that they're going to be able to bring Rebby in. And in order for that storyline to work, you need the entire Hardy family.
That is true. And that's why I don't care about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just see it as having a very slim chance of being successful, and what it's also going to do is if you're pairing Bray Wyatt with him in any way, whether it's versus or they're going to try to work together or something, it just kills him as well. Like, it's, I don't know. I feel like it's just a kamikaze plan.
But I mean, let's get real. Like Bray Wyatt is pretty much dead already. Like they floundered him so bad. Like they caught lightning in a bottle with him when he was part of the Wyatt family when they first started, and then they just fucked it up.
Well, even his resurgence with the Firefly Funhouse has got a lot of people talking. Like, Bray Wyatt is a guy to me that, if handled correctly, is one of the top talents in the company.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been so fucked millions of times over,
but
and
you know why? Because he doesn't fit Vince's standard of top guy. So he's been overlooked. I mean, he's been overlooked ever since he was like back when he was in the original what was it? The original NXT.
Yeah.
Like original like Nexus.
Yeah.
He's been overlooked ever since he was Husky Harris. They told him that he was too big, so he dropped weight and all this stuff.
but that gimmick
But
also
if you look
kinda
at his
sucked
brother,
ass.
his brother's overlooked too. Bo Dallas was overlooked as well.
I mean, most of the time, and I don't care what anybody thinks, a gimmick is really what makes a lot of wrestlers.
Mhm.
Okay, you could be great in ring, but if you have no fucking personality, nobody's ever gonna really remember you. They'll be like, I saw this great match, but I don't know who the fuck was in it. Like, all the greats that people remember had a very strong gimmick
Mhm.
going for them, and he's got that down pat where Bo Dallas doesn't. Bo Dallas's gimmick has always been,
Oh,
Okay.
fucking hated him when he was Bo Leaf. But anyway, I get what you're saying, and I completely agree with you. Bray Wyatt has everything that they need, but Vince just won't pull the trigger on him because he doesn't fit that standard mold.
Right. Yep. I agree. Okay. So
I mean, he needs to come out as kind of a character that's doing this Firefly Funhouse bullshit, but when he enters the ring, he is just decimating people.
I agree.
Mhm.
That should be Bray, and that's what they had him doing when he first came out, and then John Cena match, they ultimately killed him. I hate
Yeah.
to say that because I like John Cena, but
But there was a good 5-6 years there where John Cena was just literally killing talent, and it's just the booking of John Cena that was killing talent.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And again,
be
they
right back.
book John Cena the way that they book Roman Reigns now because he was the top merch seller.
yeah, no, I'm with
And
you,
not
Gina.
only that, but I'm sorry.
I'm agreeing with you. I
Yeah,
just said
and
I
not
agree.
only that, but not only was he a top merch seller, but John Cena was able to bring in kids, which Roman Reigns does as well. So I
That's
mean,
true.
you bring them in young.
Yep. Yep. So then we get to the final match of the night, main event. Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler. Well, Shane, Elias, and Drew McIntyre come down to the ring and they get involved. So they told Kevin Owens to leave, but he fucking comes back and everything just goes all awry. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I look up and Shane McMahon's the only one standing in the ring. Along comes Kevin Owens and gives the stunner to Shane McMahon. Wow, we've come a long way to tell this story again, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just saying.
and you know, the funny thing is Stone Cold actually hit Twitter and he said the same thing. He's like, "Oh, gee, this looks familiar."
Yeah. It's a storyline that they did way back when Vince and Stone Cold were at odds. They're just trying to rehash old shit and it's not working. But it got a pop.
Mm-hmm.
It got a pop.
Well, I think the only reason why it got as much of a pop as it did was because of the Kevin Owens quote unquote pipe bomb at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
But this is also a good part of long-term booking because ultimately we know that this is going to lead to Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon.
Yep. I think he's ultimately going to get involved in the match this weekend.
I agree.
We'll get to that. Roman Reigns ends up hitting a spear and pins Ziggler. That ended the show. And that's your go-home show
Mm-hmm.
for SmackDown. It was okay, but it wasn't. I don't know. I ain't gonna sit here and say it's a 10-star show because it fucking wasn't. But
I mean, for me, the whole show was Otis. Like that look on Xavier Woods' face still fucking kills me. It's still, oh my god, it still kills me.
right. NXT. I don't know if any of you watched NXT. I just want to get on this real quick.
I did not get a chance to.
So
No.
I'm gonna do it. Sorry, have to.
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
Io Shirai starts the show. I love. If you have not seen her entrance, watch it. Her promo was short, sweet, and to the point. She said maybe 10 words and then left. I don't need friends. I don't need you, and walked out. Short to the point, and fucking, I mean, just with the, what would you call it, Heather? Like I'm the bitch kind of fucking attitude. Don't fuck with me or I'll fucking destroy you kind of look.
So snooty bitch.
Yes. But she can back it up by beating the fuck out of somebody. That's Io Shirai, though.
Right.
The only other thing that really, nothing else really caught my eye. Again, the Street Profits, they came out and they acted like badasses, but yet they're a comedy act on the fucking main roster. It tells you a lot about what the WWE thinks of fucking Street Profits. And I called it before they even decided to do what they were going to do. The Street Profits, and this is why I don't care about the Street Profits. Is I knew they were going to push them like this because they don't care about the Street Profits.
But I mean, you know, that's one of the biggest. That's one of my biggest gripes, I guess, about the main roster and Vince particularly is like Triple H spends all this time in NXT building this talent up and getting them to the point where they are. Like for the really popular, you know, and I mean, look at fucking Asuka. You know, he spent a lot of time building Asuka up. She was undefeated, and then all of a sudden she gets to the main roster, and all of a sudden, flat on her face. And this has happened to a lot of NXT talent that has gotten called up. So that's my main gripe with the main card is they pretty much destroy everything that Triple H built. in these characters.
We can't say that because Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins.
I'm talking about the newer talent that they've been bringing up. You know, I mean, if and this is my opinion, if they don't have anything for them on the main roster, then you either need to keep them in NXT or you need to release them. Plain and simple. Because if you don't have anything for them in NXT and you don't have anything for them in the main roster and they're just going to be sitting there, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. A lot of people say this. They say, well, every time fucking WWE brings somebody up, they end up getting buried. And then you come back and say you can't say that because, you know, of those
the
5,
original
6,
NXT
7 names. But still, they came from NXT. That's what the point I'm trying to make. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, for me, I'd say it was probably more just like the past couple of years that they've been calling people up and they kind of just sit kind of in the background for a little while. But when you look at it, you can't really blame them either because if you look at they have all their main stars that they need. They have Roman Reigns, fucking Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, Kevin Owens, the list goes on. And all of these guys came from NXT. But that's why I just don't understand why they keep on pulling talent from NXT.
Yeah, well,
if they're not
they run out of things for them to do in NXT as well.
Yeah, they do.
Right. That's my
They
point.
have too
Stop
many fucking
hiring
wrestlers.
people.
They have too many people.
Exactly. The roster is way too big, and WWE does this thing where it's like, we're gonna scoop you up, but we're gonna put you in that, you know, that drawer that everybody has that's just filled with fucking random shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's where half these people end up in this place where it's like, we might have use for you at some point in time, so we're just gonna hold on to you.
But here's my idea in order to eliminate that. Bring back Sunday Night Heat.
Oh God.
Why add another show?
Why? But what? Okay, either that or I know that a lot of these people that are being pulled up from NXT and not utilized on main card, they are getting utilized on Superstars.
Main event as well.
Or
what I would have done actually is just extend.
My point. I'm sorry, Basement.
I would have extended NXT to a 2-hour show.
Me
Why can't they do that?
Or if they're going to showcase these people on like main event or Superstars, advertise a little bit more for these shows.
I agree.
The thing is, they showcase them on the main event and stuff, and it's like whoever's watching it doesn't like. You never get a great anything on main event.
I mean, I loved Sunday Night Heat, especially when they had it on right.
I hated it forever.
Oh God, I loved it, especially when they had it on right before a pay-per-view. I loved that shit. I would take that shit any day over a pre-show.
Well, that's ultimately what they did with Sunday Night Heat is what they do with fucking the pre-shows.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But like Sunday Night Heat, yeah, they had the pre-show and yeah, they talked about the pay-per-view that was coming up, but there was also a lot more wrestling going on Sunday Night Heat than there are on the pre-shows right now.
Yeah, but they think people don't want to see that, especially with lower tier guys. Then they're like, we have to let Charlie and Sam and all those guys talk, and it gets into 30 minutes of them talking with 2 matches that nobody gives a shit about because, 1, you're not wanting to see it, or 2, you're not in the arena to see it like they did with WrestleMania that year.
I mean, me personally, I would much rather see like wrestling than fucking Charlie Caruso, and especially that Sam, whatever the fuck his name is. Get that guy off my fucking TV. Yeah, Sam Roberts, get him off my TV. I don't want to see him.
Well, the belief is that he's going to be the guy who has the official podcast for the network. I think we were all theorizing that. So,
oh God, I don't.
The ace in the chat brings up a good point. He's like, he knows WWE can't push everyone, but at least present them with purpose. You know what I mean? Like, and that's 100% true. Bring them up with at least direction, even if you're not pushing them to the fucking moon. At least have them maintain character. At least they know who they are. When they're not going to get time on air to build the new character or new direction that WWE decides to put them in, they just fizzle out.
That's true. I agree.
I mean, personally, they need to stop fucking hiring people. They need to release some people and stop hiring people, at least for the time being, at least until they figure out what the fuck they're going to do.
But you have to think too, some of these, like the thing that nobody really looks at is a lot of the talent WWE has, yeah, you might not see them on TV. It doesn't mean that they're not using them in some other respect backstage or promotionally or anything like that. The WWE is a huge company, and these guys can fill a lot of roles because they know the business.
Yeah.
Like Mojo, he's the perfect fucking ambassador for Saudi Arabia.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. So we get to that time where we're going to talk about our predictions. Oh my god. All right. So the first match on the card, and I don't know if this is in that order, is Aleister Black versus Cesaro.
Black Mass.
Black Mass. I'm going to start with Trek. What do you think?
Black's gonna win. They can't have built him up all this time for him to just lose.
They haven't built him up
It's
at
gonna
all.
be
But
how
anyway, I get you.
He had promo packages. I think is what he's kind of
I
technically
get what
their
he's
promo
saying. I was
package.
being a smartass. I got it.
You fucking bitch.
Bobby, what about you?
Yo, motherfucker, I gotta go. I go with my main man, Mr. Aleister Black, motherfucker.
I just can't.
I'm gonna go with Aleister Black as well.
I gotta go with Black Lives Matter.
That's a good one to go with.
Gina?
Fuck, god damn it.
Yeah, I mean, you know Cesaro's not winning. Come on.
I know. I'm gonna go with Black because it's the obvious choice, but I just hate the fact that I really hope, even though I know that Black is gonna win, I hope that it's not a squash match. I hope that they make
No.
Cesaro.
It shouldn't
Yeah,
It can't be the way that they did that. It's not going to be.
I actually feel like this is a contender for possible match of the night if they do this right.
I agree with you. In fact, I said that in the middle of this podcast.
Really?
Yeah. I think. It's
Well, shit.
Someone else said it in the chat too.
Yep.
I can't remember.
Ace did, and Gina agreed.
Ace is fucking.
Well,
genius.
that's probably where I heard it from. Then shout out to Ace.
Well,
But
I said it
completely agree
before he did.
with everybody.
God damn it.
I,
Anyway.
I agree with everybody.
Yeah, you did. Zack Sabre Jr. sucks.
Hey,
Yep. He sucks fat dicks.
You know what? You know
Probably.
what?
I don't know.
You can both.
You know what? Hell for me would be watching Zack Sabre Jr. on fucking infinite repeat.
Okay, first of all, that is not what you said last night, you jackass.
How about a Zack Sabre Jr. versus Walter match? Oh wait, we did watch that.
Oh
But anyway,
That match was like
we
Walter
should have recorded that
executed.
for the fucking. Oh god, we should have recorded that for
Walter
somebody's show.
fucking-
Like
The only wrestling move he did for like 90% of the match was chop the guy.
chopping.
Zack Sabre Jr. is like, though you're 18 times my size, when you punch me, I feel no pain.
right.
Fuck Zack.
The next match is the Revival versus the Usos. I don't know if the tag titles are on the line, but I think they are.
I believe they are, yeah.
Who you going with? Gina, who you going with?
Fuck, who has them now?
The Revival. They're champions.
Oh god, that's not a good way to start this prediction.
I'm gonna go with the Usos because I can't stand the Revival.
Oh, just because you can't stand the like, you don't know how to tell a story. Anyway, just kidding, Gina. Basement. What about you?
I feel like the Revival could be on like riding shirtless on fucking horses and like some sort of romance cover about two men that just when they're not
Yes,
riding
and
horses, they're
whatever
riding
the fuck
each
this
other.
is. Oh
So-
god, Brokeback Mountain.
Yep, I'm gonna go with yeah, they haven't really done anything with it, man. I gotta go Usos.
Okay.
Titles are on the line, by the way.
Heather.
I'm gonna go with the Usos.
Usos.
Bobbit.
Never gonna do that again.
Motherfucker, I gotta go with the penitentiary, motherfucker. I gotta go with the Usos, motherfucker.
I thought he said penetration at some point.
The penetration.
I thought he was gonna say I gotta go with the penetration and then go with the fucking Revival.
Penetrate me.
Trek.
No, I can't.
Trek.
I got the Usos.
I am not going with the Usos. I am going
Well-
with the Revival.
Racist.
Yep,
Your
I am.
It's going Brokeback Mountain style. Going with penetration.
daughter hates you for that choice.
After the predictions are over, I've got an announcement, so everybody just hold on. Just wanted to throw that out there. Cruiserweight title. This will probably be on the pre-show, which it should be. Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese. Bobbit?
Ooh.
I gotta go with Tony Knees because he's gonna knee up his competition, motherfucker. Yeah, real talk.
Fuck. Real talk. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Real
Heather?
talk, man. Real
Heather?
talk.
I'm gonna stick with Drew Gulak.
Gina?
Concur with Heather Gulak.
Basement?
I gotta go with my boy Skinny Penis. Tony Nese.
I'm gonna go with Gulak. They built Gulak up. They need to keep the title on the guy for just a little bit. I mean, come on.
They just
Just
Track-
obliterate the title.
Yeah, Gulak. He just got it.
Well, just because he just got it, I mean, they just gave it to Nese and then they took it right off of him. But
I'm gonna call him Gooback.
next match, U.S. title: Ricochet versus AJ Styles. I'm gonna go with AJ. They need to get the fucking title off that guy. Just get the title. I like Ricochet. He won the title too early. Trek.
Yeah, I think it's AJ Styles too. The way they ended with him I don't know. It feels like AJ is gonna win.
Bobbit.
Yo, man, I gotta go with the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, motherfucker.
Heather.
I'm going AJ.
Gina.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Who has the U.S. Championship over
Okay.
SmackDown? No,
You are
just
killing me.
stick with me.
Ricochet.
Who has the U.S. champ?
Ricochet.
No, or not the U.S. title. The IC title is Finn, who is a face. So I'm thinking that they're gonna put the U.S. title on a heel. So I'm gonna go AJ.
Basement.
Man, going by Gina's logic, which I do not understand, I'm going with AJ Styles as well.
Okay, because the
I know
Intercontinental
what you mean.
Champion is a face.
But when you started off saying who has the U.S. title,
No, what? I got my titles confused. Fuck off.
SmackDown tag team titles, and I already talked about this triple threat. Daniel Bryan, Rowan versus New Day versus Heavy Machinery.
All right, who's first?
Go ahead, Basement.
I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan and Rowan maintaining.
Okay.
I hate you.
Why?
Gina.
Fuck. I know I'm gonna be wrong, but I'm going with Otis and Tucky.
Don't follow your heart.
You pick with your heart all the time.
You know what? You know what? I can't vote against my future ex-husband.
You're gonna
okay?
be heartbroken.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Heather?
When am I not heartbroken? So fuck off. Heavy machinery.
Heather went with the New Day. Trek.
I'm going with Daniel Bryan and Rowan to retain only so that at SummerSlam I think they're gonna put him on Heavy Machinery.
They ain't putting them on Heavy Machinery.
That seems like a terrible plan.
I agree. Bobbit.
Oh, my
I
boo.
gotta go with the boys, the New Day.
Tina, did you just say "ow my butt"?
Yeah.
No, out my boob. You ever get those like random boob pains? It's just like ow.
I get random dick pains.
I am going. I hate this.
No, you don't.
Simply go with their formula.
I'm going with Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan
Smart man.
because they ain't taking titles off of them. Fucking Daniel Bryan.
For what though? Why would they take him off? Like where the New Day don't need it. The Heavy Machinery.
Fuck off.
They aren't gonna. They aren't never gonna win tag team titles.
They will at some point,
They
maybe
will eventually, just not
for a
in
day.
very long
When they
run.
turn heel, maybe.
No, they're gonna stay face. They're useless as heels, I think.
Whatever. Don't ruin my
Thought process?
trying to get Gina to fucking snap. Just kidding.
What? I was tuning you out. Aaron wrote a fucking column in the fucking drama free zone that I'm trying to read.
Did he? Okay. I'll have to read it later when I go to bed so I can go to sleep. I'm just kidding, Aaron. I love you.
Well,
I'm kidding. Next match is Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley in a last man standing match. Heather.
I think it's gonna be Braun Strowman.
Okay. Trek.
I think it's Braun.
I hate calling on him because I know what he's gonna fucking do. Bobbit.
Yo, motherfucker, this is my shucky ducky quack quack pizza holy
Oh my
holy.
god. Shucky quack quack.
Prediction of
pizza,
the night, motherfucker. I'm going with my main man, Bobby Lashley, because he's a motherfucker, just like me, motherfucker. Yeah, real talk.
He could just. Can I shoot him?
Yes.
Yes.
No, he should be president.
Basement.
Shucky ducky quack quack. I actually think this is gonna end where they both lose.
So it's gonna be
There's gonna be no
contest?
actual winner in this match.
Could be some fuckery going on.
Swerve.
No, there's no fuckery. I can see where Basement's coming from.
But they just
No.
both
What
basically
did they
don't
just-
get up
what
at
did
the
the-
10 count.
What did they just
is
do
there,
at Raw? What did they just
Sorry?
do at Raw 2 weeks ago?
No,
Yeah,
no,
is
I'm just.
there a-
that is-
Is there a stipulation to this match?
Last man standing.
Okay, Gina, I
Oh,
don't know.
I'm
what
sorry.
word
Like I said, I was trying to respond to Aaron.
you're-
Tell Aaron, blame Aaron. He's the one that's
I
fucking.
blame you
writing
for
columns.
everything.
And I'm trying to be on a show. You know what? Fuck off.
Francis!
Okay, last man standing. I actually agree with Basement. I don't think that there's going to be a winner.
I am of the same sentiment. I just what did they just do on Raw?
Each other.
Did not get up. They're playing up their injuries to where neither of them are gonna respond, and it makes them both look strong.
Yeah, and they'll probably finish it at SummerSlam in some elaborate bullshit.
It'll be
ambulance match.
It'll be a Titantron on a pole match. I don't,
Lashley's supposed to be leaving to do some MMA stuff pretty soon anyway.
the WWE title: Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe. Bobbit.
What was the match again?
Oh. Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe for the WWE title.
Okay, I gotta go with Samoa Joe because he's gonna Samoa that hoe, yo.
Oh my god. I think you're a fucking split personality disorder waiting to happen. Heather?
Yeah, probably Samoa Joe.
Be about time. Trek?
I think Kofi's gonna keep it.
Fucking goddamn it. Why do you fucking. Ugh. Anyway, Gina?
Uh,
I expect her to say Kofi Kingston.
no, actually, I want to go. I don't think that this is going to happen, but this is what I really want to happen. Okay, Samoa Joe is going to win. Okay, first of all, but I want Brock Lesnar to cash in on Samoa Joe.
No, I don't ever want that to happen. If anything,
I
cash
want
in,
that to happen
make it a
because
triple
that would
threat.
be a match. But no, I want him to cash in on Samoa Joe after Samoa Joe wins, so that at SummerSlam we have Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar.
Remember the first match?
I mean, but come on. I mean, let's get real. Would you rather see fucking Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins again?
I want to see Brock Lesnar versus nobody. He's just going to be there with the fucking box in his hands.
basement.
I want to see Brock Lesnar cash in on the 24/7 title. No, I feel like I feel emotional. I feel like if you put it like Kofi losing it to Samoa Joe, I think Samoa Joe should be champion, but I feel like they're gonna want to keep it on Kofi Kingston if the New Day is not gonna have the tag titles. So I'm going with Kofi.
I'm going
I mean,
with Samoa
if
Joe.
Samoa Joe hailing from Dunkin' Donuts.
Because I
Okay,
just
but
get the fucking
if
title off of fucking Kofi Kingston.
I'm
It's so
just
fucking boring to me.
I'm just gonna say this right now, like if all of the members of the New Day end up winning titles, if they come out and touch tips, I'm gonna fucking no. I want to see
They're
them
gonna
touch
come out and
tips.
touch tips.
Did you not
Yeah.
hear
Just a
fucking Big E
tip.
fucking promo? They're gonna touch tips of titles.
No, they probably.
Yeah, that is not what Big E meant. You know it damn well.
No, that is not what he meant. There was a lot of sexual innuendo in that promo, by the way.
Well,
I feel like Big E
there's
would be
always
funny as
sexual
fuck to hang out with.
innuendo
With Big E.
with Big E and fucking. I literally think they're gay.
They
I
definitely.
I don't think Big E is because he wants Becky Lynch's mom.
Oh God.
Whatever, he could be trans.
I'm gonna watch the Big E and Kenny
Bisexual.
Omega sex
You mean
tape.
bisexual?
Whatever you want to fucking call it. I'm gotta remember I'm 46. I don't.
Big E wears dresses in his part.
Whatever.
Isn't that what it's called though? Like, what are we talking about here?
It's bi. Okay, so he said
Bisexual.
that he thinks that Big E is gay, and then Heather said that he can't be. He wants Becky Lynch's mom, and then he says maybe he's trans.
Whatever.
Okay, so like what? The sport in the vagina secretly too?
I don't. Anyway, god damn it. The Raw Women's Tag title and the Universal title. We didn't even do this. SmackDown Women's title: Bayley versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss.
It's gonna be Alexa
I'm
wins.
gonna
by
be me.
So Nikki, you think Nikki,
gets the pin.
and then Alexa wins? Okay.
I agree with Heather. I think Nikki's going to get the pin. Alexa's going to grab the title, and that is going to be what starts the feud.
Basement.
Bailey will retain.
Is she
Don't you giggle?
I know. I actually agree with you. I think Nikki is going to turn on Alexa.
I feel like Bailey
Drink
takes
match.
really big shits.
Bobbit.
Yo, I gotta go with my main chick, Alexa, motherfucker. She's gonna.
Okay. Do you think Nikki is winning the belt, or do you think Alexa's just gonna pin her?
Dude, Alexa's gonna take it all, motherfucker, because Alexa is the #1 women's competitor in that whole division right now, motherfucker.
Want to slap him and then stab him in the eye with a spork.
Trek.
That's her president.
Bailey retains. And then Nikki just beats the crap out of Alexa because Alexa just shoves her so that Nikki just goes off on her.
Okay, that's kind of my thinking. The winner take all Extreme Rules match between Seth and Becky and Baron and Lacey. Bobbit.
I go with Baron Foreskin, motherfucker.
Bearing foreskin.
Lacey. And Bobbit's gonna go 1 and 8. I'm just kidding. Trek.
Seth and Becky retain.
I don't want Seth and Becky to win.
It's happening.
I agree. It is happening. But they
Hope
need
the
to get,
arena collapses on
They
them.
need to. I hope. Hopefully, the fucking arena collapses on them. Heather.
Jesus. Good.
I'm
Somehow-
gonna remain hopeful and they actually go against their formula here. And Baron and Lacey win.
Okay.
Just to have Brock cash in on Baron.
So you think he's cashing in on Baron?
Mm-hmm.
The big money match. Just kill me.
Gina?
I actually think that Seth and Becky will retain, but I think, and I know I said Brock cash in on blah blah Samoa Joe, whatever. That was what I wanted to see happen. What I think is actually going to happen is Brock is going to cash in on Seth, and this is going to lead because Vince McMahon is very one up, like he is very very fond of Baron Corbin right now. So this is going to ultimately lead to Brock versus Seth versus Baron at SummerSlam.
Okay.
That sounds like a terrible match.
Lot of
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it is fucking horrible. But I think that's where it's going.
No,
basement.
here's what's gonna happen. Okay, there's gonna be a point in the match where Brock Lesnar's music hits and Seth's gonna be looking at the Titantron, and then the ref will try to get his attention, but he's thinking it's the other wrestler. He's gonna turn around. He's gonna hit the ref. They gotta get another person to come in, another ref, and it's Rey Mysterio. And then the whole arena just collapses and kills all of them.
And there we have a fairy tale by Canadian Basement.
So,
I hope
do you
my
want
dream
me
comes
to
true.
put down Death Ensues?
No, put down Becky and Seth Rollins. Fucking hell.
I do want to say that while I think that Becky and Seth are going to retain, I really hope that Baron and Lacey win it just so that they can stop with this fucking Seth and Becky shit.
They're
Me
never
too.
gonna do that. Like, look at the money and like the attention Seth and Becky and all the work they put into Seth and Becky now. Baron and Lacey were just thrown together.
That's true.
Yeah, they were thrown together, but Baron Corbin has he's getting
Sex
a
appeal?
huge push this year. Like a huge push, which is why I don't think that Brock is going to cash in on him.
He's got like extremely like a huge amount of foreskin.
I mean, I have you seen his penis? Like, how would you know that?
All right. Oh
It's
my
feel.
God. This is. Where are we going with this? Anyway, Undertaker, the last match, and like I said, I forgot this match. Right now, the way that they have it, the last match is actually the Universal / Raw Women's title, which
I hope not.
I hope not either. But
I think that might actually
I think
start
this
the
one
card.
might actually be the main event. The Undertaker and Roman Reigns versus Shane and Drew. It is a no holds barred match.
With Undertaker and Roman Reigns involved, yes, that will be the main event.
Wendy
I
does
feel
not
your
like it.
pain,
Yeah.
Wendy. Trek, what do
Well-
you got here?
I see Shane and Drew winning because if they want to set up Drew versus Taker at SummerSlam, I could see Drew screwing them over, said that, and then Taker gets fed up and says, "I want you at SummerSlam," and stuff
And
like
then
that.
Goldberg enters through the right,
Oh,
but
good lord!
but he gets lost in the parking lot.
And then
He gets
Goldberg
lost.
comes out
Goldberg.
thinking that he's
Cheers.
still in Saudi Arabia.
Ah.
Anyway. Bobbit,
Please go with me last, because what I'm going to say is it has to end the show.
I'm not ending the show with that.
Do we
No,
still
he
have the
means
announcements
Summers-
to make
he-
about wrestling
extreme-
memories, Bobby?
Just go with me last.
Oh my God, you whiny little Heather.
No, it's worth it.
Okay.
Sure it is. I'm gonna go with Shane and Drew.
Okay. Gina,
I'm gonna go with the Graveyard Dogs because it's their yard now. And not only that, fuck my life, but I'm going with Roman and Taker simply because I think that Kevin Owens is going to interfere with the match and take Shane out of the situation.
which is going to lead to a Shane and Kevin Owens match.
Kevin Owens match.
And will still ultimately lead, and I agree with that, which will still ultimately lead to a Drew McIntyre Undertaker match. Because that's why Undertaker came back, so that he could have a feud. Because they don't have anything for Drew McIntyre to do
Right.
after this match. Basement?
I agree with everything you just said 100%. But also, what the fuck is a graveyard dog? Like
You didn't see
junkyard
the
dog
shirt?
makes no. I understand. Like But like at least build it off of something that's real. Like you have dogs guarding a graveyard.
It's a graveyard dog. It's their yard now, you know. Fucking dumb.
There was a better name for them, wasn't there?
I mean, can you imagine Michael Cole right now? It's the graveyard dogs. It's their yard or their
With a
yard
big fight
now.
feel.
You got that big fight feel. Fuck you, Michael Cole.
Alright, alright, and last but not least, Bobbit.
Yo, motherfuckers, I gotta go with the dong, dear. They're gonna fuck up the competition, motherfuckers, because they're the graveyard dogs now. It's their yard because they dead, motherfucker.
That was okay.
I don't know what to think about
That was worth the wait. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
No.
So
No.
that being said, Bronny was supposed to be here tonight. She was going to come back, but Florida's getting slammed with weather. I will
Yeah,
get her predictions for us. I will get her predictions, and then hopefully she'll be back on Sunday. We will be streaming live on this channel on Sunday for Extreme Rules. I will still do the pay-per-views live. That being said, here's the announcement. And I'm going to let Basement elaborate on the specifics. If you have not, and I don't know if it is in my description down below,
Not yet, no, but he's
Go.
typing in the chat.
go sub the Horny Goat channel. I will be doing wrestling memories on that channel from this time on. What we are going to do, and I have mulled over on this. We're going to do a Raw. Well, it's going to be WCW versus WWE. What we're going to do is we're going to do watch-alongs to Raw and Nitro and the pay-per-views week by week. That being said, that will be an episodic like we did with Wrestling Memories. That being said, the Horny Goat is a new channel that we set up, and it's all of us that are on this show, including Ronnie and a couple others. We are going to be doing not just wrestling, we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to let Basement elaborate on that, and you can take it from there, Basement.
So like JP said, man, we all got together and we said, running a channel by yourself is a lot of work. And we all get along with each other pretty well. So we decided to work together, and we all love kind of the same things. Sure, we all love wrestling, and that's probably at the core of it all. But the channel will not just be wrestling. It will be gaming. As you guys might or might not know, my channel got shut down. That was gaming oriented, and I would love to continue gaming. So I've continued gaming on the Horny Goat, and those games, those playthroughs are not just going to be me myself. Whenever these guys are available, they'll jump in. We'll have a good time. We're going to have recorded content, live content. It'll be wrestling. It'll be gaming. It'll be reactions to TV shows, movies, things like that. So if you guys are interested in all of us, come check it out. And look at my baby boys in the chat.
Yes, Cardinal is in the chat. I love him. But we do have we have an idea for a really good show, because I know a lot of you guys get a kick out of all of us when we're debating things or just talking, because you guys know us, when we get going, it's one conversation after another. We do have one lined up where it would be us debating topics.
Mm-hmm.
So that could get interesting, and that would be a live show, correct, Basement?
It will be, yes.
And also, I do want to say this. Wrestling, we're not just going to do WWE, people. We're going to do New Japan as well. Gina's
Oh, yeah, baby. When New
Gina's gotta
Japan
set
is
that
my
up.
forte.
Actually, I don't know how she's going to do it. She's going to do a review or how she's going to do it, but...
Right now, I'm looking at doing reviews, because we're in the middle of G1, or the beginning stages of G1 right now. So I'm looking at doing reviews. at least one review per week of the G1 match, and then we're gonna do one episode of like predictions for the next
Yep.
set
So
of
we'll be
G1.
doing that, and I'm sure we'll be hitting on AEW when that starts up. But like I said, well, me and Basement are actually we're gonna be doing something really fun. What's the show called? I can't remember what you called it. It's called Wrestling and Alcoholism or something.
I called it Wrestling with Alcoholism.
Where Basement and I play a drinking game while we watch our pay-per-view. That's going to be recorded. We're going to do a watch along. We did a recording already at Starcade 83, and I've got to get that and have Heather upload it. And we're going to do that. We're not going to do it every week. We might do it like once a month or whatever, but we're going to do pay-per-views where Basement and I play a drinking game while we watch pay-per-views. And we got pretty fucked up at the last time we did it. It was fun. It was fun, but we got fucked up. I couldn't walk the next fucking day. So it's going to be fun. We're setting this up where we're just going to shoot the shit and have some fun. And yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there. And this is the perfect time for me to do it. I thought I'd go live tonight for this. So that being said, if anybody doesn't have anything else, I know Bobbit and Trek have shows lined up, I guess. You guys will be doing what?
Nerd Squad. Basically, anything like comic books, movies, video games, we will be talking about it. We'll have guest hosts and all that kind of stuff. Our first episode is going to be about Kids WB.
I'm sure you just said Kids and WB. What?
Kids
WB.
Oh, Kids WB. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it said E.
Heather is actually going to be doing her tattooed masses on this channel, where she has actually already done some shows and is editing them to put in the channel. And the channel is actually up and working. Basement has actually done some gaming streams. Basement is doing The Last of Us, and it's the first time I'm ever watching somebody do a walkthrough with it. The first episode was funny. Apparently, said I'd take it up the ass, which is not true, but...
You did. Okay, right now over there, today is like the premiere for Batman. The first episode of Batman actually up at 5 o'clock today. So that first episode is fucking hilarious. So you guys should go check that out right away. And we've got what is it, Edith Finch?
Yeah, right? Edith Finch coming up soon. That's a quick playthrough. That's a fun. That's actually fucking. The game was way better than I thought it would be. So the first one of that goes up Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, like I said, we'll also be doing debates. We'll just have like a little random show where we just sit around and shoot the shit.
Yeah, it's just basically a collective. Like, we're gonna have shows with all of us on it, and like JP said, we have a few other people involved with it as well. Well, there's gonna be shows with all of us where it's just like random kind of, doing whatever we're doing, whether it be gaming or whatnot or whatever. But then there's, like, as JP pointed out, we're all doing our own individual thing for the channel as well to contribute. So you're gonna have a lot of variety of different things that's going to be coming up. It's not just focused on gaming. It's not focused on wrestling. It's focused on pretty much whatever we want to talk about at the time.
Yeah, you're just going to have a hell of a lot of different content. We're going to do a reaction video to Game of Thrones, eventually one to some anime, if there's any anime fans out there. There's just an amalgamation of fucking everything. So if you're interested, sub up. And
please subscribe, because I know a lot of people here on my channel watch for the wrestling memories. Not only get wrestling memories, you'll get all the stuff that we talked about. It's a good time. I might even pop in when they do Game of Thrones and shit on it.
Dude. Okay, let's get something straight. Like, we're doing reactionary videos with Game of Thrones, but I want to make something perfectly clear. It is me, Basement, Bobbit, and Trek on there, but like Basement and Bobbit, while they've both seen the show, Trek and I are newbies to Game of Thrones. So these are completely 100% like live, authentic reactions. We have not watched ahead. So what you're seeing is what we are reacting to.
What we are seeing is what you are seeing. Whatever she just said.
What you're seeing is actually how our authentic reaction to the show.
See,
There
it
are
was the
tons
concept
of
that I had for fucking Raw and SmackDown, but you don't elicit a reaction out of me in Raw and SmackDown, so yeah.
tons of titties, tons of dicks.
What's that?
I mean, titties are
Sex
really.
girls.
Seriously, go check out Batman, the first episode. It's
Yep,
fucking
just-
hilarious.
Batman was fucking fun to record and
It was
fun to
so fun.
rewatch.
I was not there for that one, but I'm pretty sure I would have been. I think I was not feeling
Yeah,
well that
went
night.
for
Yeah,
you
you had
good.
sports.
Went to bed early. Like I think you were there at the beginning, but then you went to bed.
No, I wasn't there for. I was there for The Last of Us, I think.
You
Yeah,
were
that's
shitting
it.
yourself
Then we stopped
blind.
that one, yeah. But anyway,
So that's all I have. If anybody doesn't have anything else, I'm going to end it here. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I appreciate all the. I've seen new viewers. Jen Weddle, thanks for being in here. Cardinal, I haven't talked to you in a long time. It's good seeing you. There was a couple other new people in here. I'm glad to see you all show up. I will not be closing this channel down. I will still be doing my reviews and stuff on this channel, and I'll still be doing my live pay-per-views unless I decide to move it over. But I don't know if I'll do that. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks for being here, guys. It was a lot shorter than it was last week. We still had a great discussion about Raw and SmackDown. Some good things, some bad things. I hope WWE goes in the right direction. They're trying, like Basement said. I agree with that, but it's just going to take time. Be patient. Hopefully they fix their shit. Who knows? With that being said, I want to thank everybody for showing up again. And you all have a great night. Oh my god, I'm so tired.
We're gonna stay awake forever.
Roxas!